This module has been developed for the Michigan Early Literacy Collaborative Project. The purpose of this module is to support Kindergarten Common Core Standard RFK 1C under concepts of print. Words need to be separated by spaces. Proper spacing includes both spacing between letters and spacing between words. The space between each letter in a word should be the same, and space between each word should also be consistent when reading and writing. One of the most difficult strategies for our students to understand and to show is spacing between words. Students need to know that words are separated by spaces in order to be able to read or write them. Without understanding spacing, students will not be able to successfully track print and will not be able to write appropriately. Therefore, this lesson truly is a foundational step for students' learning. One of the first things our students need to accomplish in kindergarten is working out their spacing. With that being said, it is important that we teach lessons like this, detailing to students why and how spacing works. This lesson can be taught within the first week of school, and you may want to teach the lesson before they write more than their name. This lesson can be taught in whole group and then repeated in small groups or even to individuals as needed. This lesson, titled A Mission for Spaceman, focuses on the standard RFK 1C. The learning objective is students will learn that words are separated by spaces. For this lesson, the following materials are needed. You will need 6-inch wood tongue depressors, the Spaceman printout, which can be printed on cardstock. You may want to consider laminating each spaceman for more durability. You will need to glue the spacemen to the depressors. Hot glue seems to work the best. You will also need dry erase board and marker or chart paper and marker for teacher use. Each student will need lined writing paper and pencils. This lesson is intended to last 20 to 25 minutes. Before students begin this lesson, you will want to make sure your spacemen are made and that you have all teaching supplies ready. At the beginning of each lesson, it is important to grab your students' attention and get them excited about what they are going to be learning next. You may want to begin this lesson by saying, "Today we have an important mission to do." A mission is an important assignment that needs to be completed. Our mission today is going to learn that words must be separated by spaces. We are going to need help on our mission, so I have called in Spaceman to help us. Are you ready to go on this mission? At some point in the beginning of the lesson, you may need to discuss appropriate use of the spaceman before you begin. For example, Spaceman needs to stay close to your paper. He never flies off and leaves his mission. It is now time to teach the strategy. You may want to begin by saying, "Our important mission is to remember that words are separated by spaces. Can you repeat the mission, please?" Give students time to respond. Continue saying, "Now, letters do not all need to have spaces between them. Only complete words need spaces between them. If we don't have spaces between our words, we can't read them. That would be disastrous." So the way the mission works is, when you see a space, you need to know you are moving from one word to another. Whether you are reading or writing, a space separates one word from the next. Now, Spaceman has come to help us and make spaces. Can you tell me what Spaceman is doing here to help us? Again, give students time to respond. Continue teaching by saying, "Great, now when I'm reading, a space tells me to go to the next word. But when I'm writing, I have to make that space myself. That is where Spaceman comes in. When I write one word, what do I need to do before I can write another word? I need to put a space. So I am going to put my spaceman down. After him, I can start writing my next word. Spaceman is going to show me where to stop between each of my words so I can remember to make a space after each word before I can write another one. See how helpful he is? It is now time to model the lesson to the students, showing what they will be expected to do to complete this lesson. Have Spaceman help you model how to space a short 3-word sentence. You may say, "I have a special sentence. My sentence is, I can fly." I want to write this sentence. First, I will have to write the word I. But to write another word, I need a space. So I am going to put my spaceman down. Now I can write my next word, can. Then I will need one more word, so I will put my spaceman down again and write the next word, fly. I don't have any more words in my sentence, so I don't need any more spaces. I can just put a period right after my last word. Continue modeling by saying, good, now at your tables you have a small spaceman. I would like for you to go back to your seats and get your piece of lined paper and pencil ready. Then I would like for you to copy my sentence, I can fly, onto your paper. As you write the sentence, you will need spaceman to help you. Between each word, I would like to see you using your spaceman. He is going to be the reminder that we need spaces between each word. At their seats, students will try the teaching point through guided practice. You can remind the students that it is now their turn to try writing the sentence and to make sure that they are using their spaceman to help them. Your students should be engaged in their work practicing the teaching point. At this point in the lesson, you may choose to extend the lesson and write more three-word sentences on the board for students to continue practicing. Some students may only use their spacemen for this one lesson and never need to use them again. Some students, however, cannot remember that they need spaces when writing ever. For these students, you can have them rewrite every word with spaces underneath or next to their spaceless writing. You may also have them write a word and then draw a highlighter line so that they remember to write their next word. You may also have them use their finger as spacers and color their nails to make it obvious. You may have some students who don't need their spacemen for some time and then begin to forget to make spaces or their spaces aren't big enough. In this case, the student may need to use their spacemen as a reminder. It is now time to wrap up the lesson. You may want to select a few students to share and demonstrate what they have just learned. You may also want to place your spaceman on the board as a physical representation to remind students that when they're reading and writing, they need spaces. At the end of the lesson, you will need to remind your students of what they have just learned. Remind them that any time that they are reading or writing, they will always have their spaceman to help them so they never forget. As the teacher, you can assess this task informally by walking around the classroom to make sure that each student is using their spaceman to make spaces while writing. You may also collect the sentences that they have written to make sure that they are understanding the concept. This lesson can be extended by having students write sentences using their spaceman through oral dictation or write their own sentences independently. You may also want to use spaceman during lengthy writing assignments. They can also be used in small groups during writing. Use the spaceman to show and talk students through the process of making spaces the appropriate length. After completing this lesson, there are several resources that provide students the opportunity to continue practicing and mastering this standard.